Hey, what's going on everybody? I'm back with the TradeUI team here to give you another TradeUI video. In this video, we're actually going to go over the mistakes that I've made as a trader over the years of my trading and the tips and tricks that I've learned that I can teach you to become a better trader now. So the chart I have over here is a chart review ever since 2021 of my trading strategy, my trading performance. I started around August of 2021, took advantage of that COVID dip and was able to just buy something for a little bit and then got out of the market for a little while. And then I got back in January 2022, just played small, learning along the way. And then June 2022, I decided to really get aggressive with my trading and really get started, where I was able to throw in about 35,000 to get started trading. And there is some great success I've seen since 2022. As you can see, I've actually turned that 35K into $223,000 so far. But this isn't about a video about me supposed to be bragging. This is a video about to show you what I learned to get from that initial 35 grand to 200,000. Because you can see there was some dips where I lost some money for a little while, but over the long run, I ended up winning. And these are positions that I was not holding for a long period of time. I was getting in and out, moving on, and trying to really find that sweet spot of when to get into the markets. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you here today. So the first thing I want to show you is a little setup that I really like to find as a trader. I like to be patient to find these setups because this setup here is really the reason that I have been able to be a profitable trader. So I like to find stocks that are profitable and make good money and have a good solid fundamentals. You can use stock screeners for that. You can research. You can do whatever you need to. I check the charts every day to figure out what's going on out there in the market to see if there's an opportunity somewhere. But in this case, Celsius, the energy drink Celsius, this was lined up with a perfect setup that I love to follow. Don't get overwhelmed with all the technical indicators you see right here. What I want to show you is the actual chart pattern you see here. So I'm going to draw the major support line that we see right here. And keep in mind that I noticed this right after earnings. So what I'm going to do here is draw it as if we were only looking right after earnings. Let's see, about right here. Okay. So I saw the chart come down here and I said, well, earnings look solid. They beat everything. They actually crushed earnings. Why is it selling off? It didn't make sense to me. But then I saw the setup going on and I said, okay, I got to get in where this lines up perfect. So what I did is I drew that major support line around $50 a share. And then I did my best to find that trend line, which originally was, I believe it was this one right here. It's been a while since I've actually been in this trade. But if I draw this right, I think I was looking at that. And a lot of people might say, well, Lane, that's not a solid support. That's not a solid trend line. You should move this one here. Then you got a solid one. Well, yeah, absolutely. And honestly, this one does look better. And the thing is that was mistake number one. Make sure you draw your charts perfectly. Because originally, remember, we didn't touch this 50. This line was actually up here. Because we found some support here, and we already had a little bit of support here. So I said, hey, this support line lines right up with this trend line, and it looks like it's a great time to get in. But the problem was we weren't quite oversold in that RSI. That MACD did not give me a confirmation on a cross yet, or it didn't even show signs of curling up. And this TTM squeeze right here was still in the red. So for me to get in on this position during that time, because if you look right here would have been the day to get in on that bull candle, you can see it went up for a hair and then it went right down to $50. And I was thinking it was going to go to $65 easy, maybe 70, because everything was solid on it. I figured this thing's about to rally all par. This is an easy win. That's mistake number one, was getting in way too early. Because this is a strong support line. However, there's two things you could do here if this trade goes wrong. And I didn't do either. One is you get out and cut your losses, or two is you average down on the next major support. So if we go here, and I draw this $50 line up, let's see. Now I have a higher profitability, a higher percentage of profit because my risk is lower. And let's readdress this trend line right here. Stay with me. If I can get it. There it is. Alright. Now let's draw that trend line at 50 and see what's going on here. Alright. And you're like, oh yeah, the astrology is really lining up. Well guys, trend lines do tend to change as time progresses, and that's where you have to figure out what's a valid trend line. So in this case, we had a major pop to the upside, then we came down. We have 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch. This is a solid trend line where it lines up with support again. So if the company's good and it lines up on that same setup, but look what's different. Now we have yellow on the TTM squeeze. That MACD is hard to see, but it's starting to curl a little bit. Then lastly, that RSI, that's oversold. So everything was lining up that this was the actual entry, because 50 is a lot stronger support zone. And as we can see what happened, we went up. We went to, looks like $7.50 a share. Went back down to 50. Went up to $62.50 and stayed consolidated. And now it's going to that $65 target we originally had. Well, here's the thing, which is lesson 2 I learned very quickly in trading. Your target might be 65, but you need to learn how to pivot through your trades quickly. Because the second that thing started seeing some resistance at $58, that would have been the great time to take profit, because you could have done that 1, 2, 3. You could have targeted 58 4 times, and you would have made $48 a share versus holding it 1 time to make $15 a share. So understand, eat your wins, take them small. You don't have to shoot for 30% a trade. Shoot for that 8 to 10%. Get that thing a couple times a month, because guys, it is so easy to get 8 to 10% on a trade every month once you find a valid system. All you gotta do is a few things, which is lesson number 3 I learned. That is, combine fundamentals with technicals, lastly with market volume. Because here's the thing, you can have the most profitable stock out there and it's the best time to buy it, but if nobody's buying it, you're not going to see that chart move. So you have to understand a few things, which is why I have this volume profile over here. I want to see where there's high volume activity, and honestly, I like to look for stocks that have an average volume of 1 million shares a day. That means 1 million shares are getting bought or sold every day. But that's one thing that I used to overlook, and I got stuck holding trades to where it didn't matter if the technical setup was great or the company was great. I'd be holding that position because some whale decided to sell off and he was the only one buying the shares. But that's where you have to understand, it's not just about seeing a great chart setup. It's all about finding good chart setups on good quality stocks. So that was the last lesson I was able to learn. And after that, after putting those 3 together, I was really able to see that account grow. And then a bonus tip I have for you is truly understanding what it means to risk your account. So if you have an account size of $10,000, and that's perfectly doable, that gives you maybe 5 $2,000 trades, 1 $10,000 trade, or $10,000 trades. And you might think, okay, if I buy this stock, all right, I'm risking $2,000 5 different times. That's not how risk works, especially for actually buying stock. How it works is, if you take that $10,000 and then you buy 5 different trades, each one's the size of $2,000, and say you have a risk of 5% on that 2,000. So we're looking at, I think, $40. Yeah, $40. So you're risking $40. All right. That sounds a lot better taking a $2,000 trade where you're only risking $40. So that's something else I had to understand and process is I'm using $2,000, but I'm only risking $40. I'm literally pimping my money out to make as much as possible. But the thing is you have to make small profits consistently. So once you find a setup to where you're risking 40 to make 40, 50, $80, cash out, find the next one, all right? There's always a trade out there, and all you gotta do is do your homework and find it. Because if you make a bunch of small 2 to 3% swing wins, mini swings, that account will grow consistently. And now I want to get to my last lesson about that I learned the hard way to grow the account without taking major losses. Don't compound your wins every day. So you might be on a hot streak and you get 5 trades in a row. So you start off with 2,000, you made 10%, so now you're up to 2200, now you're going to risk 2200 on a trade. Do not do that, okay? Set yourself up either account levels you want to get to first or quarter or periods where you compound. Me personally, I like to go 2 to 3 months before I actually size up on my trades. I started with, I think, $10,000 size trades because I had 35,000 to work with. I said that gives me 3 good trades a week or a day if I needed it. But then I said, okay, I'm only going to compound every 3 months or if I get to a certain level on my account. So because of that, I was able to grow steady and aggressive at the same time. All right. And I was able to risk a little bit more at first because I was risking 5%, but in actuality, I was only risking 5% on 20% of my account. So I was really risking, I think that's that 2%. Let's see, where's the calculator at? It's bad we can't do simple math right here, right? So let's see, if I was risking 5% of 20%, that was 40. So 40 divided by 10 times 1. If I did the math right, I'm only risking 0.4% of my account on a trade, because let's see, let me double check on this real quick. All right, so you got a $10,000 account divided by 5, that gives you $2,000, and you're going to risk 0.05%. Oh, I'm sorry, you're risking $100. Okay, that makes a little more sense. All right, you're risking $100 on every trade. So you risk 100 to try to make 100, 150, $200. But now, and actually look at that, you're only risking, I believe this is 1%. Yeah, you're only risking 1% of your account every time you take those trades. So technically, you could have either a larger stop loss, but 5% gives you plenty of swing room to the up or downside, especially when you're in at the right time. Plus, it gives you time to average down if you need to on trades. But guys, that's the biggest thing that I had to learn the hard way is it does take money to make money. But you have to grow that account steady and aggressively and understand that you can break your system in either 5 even trades, 3 even trades, but understand your risk is the most important concept to staying in the game longer, because the longer you stay in the game, the easier it will be to beat the streak. But don't stay in a position too long. Now, as the next lesson I learned is the fact that stocks move up and down all the time. So win small, go after those small swings. Don't feel like you have to double your account overnight, and in 4 years, your account will be nearly 100 times more than it was worth back when you got started. Especially if you take these lessons you learned here today. So if you want to learn more about what the TradeUI team has to offer, we have an awesome YouTube channel that we teach everybody how to do these trades, how to find great setups, use TradeUI site. But we also have an awesome Discord group that's in that link in the description below. You can be a part of the TradeUI family, and you can communicate with us and talk to us all the time to figure out what's going on in the markets. We have different things, stocks, options. We also like to talk about crypto. We have different, and we also have Super Unusual Flow, which is a cool tool where we take TradeUI's data and then we find out some awesome mid, small cap stocks that could have potential moves to the upside. So a lot of cool tools you can see here. You also have our profit testimonies where people are shouting out their wins all the time. So if we look here, someone just got 21% on an option contract. Right here, it looks like someone made $2,500 on an option contract trade, and so on and so forth. But guys, at the end of the day, I want to show you that this is legit. This is real things that we learn as traders, and I hope this information helps you out, and I hope you become a better trader for it. Thank you.